Moving across, what's going on?
I'm not certain what.
Oh my gosh!
Here, wow!
Oh my gosh!
A giant.
Oh my gosh!
This is very dangerous.
Oh my gosh!
Thousands protesting peacefully on a highway, and then a tanker truck drives towards the crowd, people running for their lives. Good evening, I'm Ian Hannamansing. Tonight, an extraordinary moment in America: protests, police, and the pandemic. Rage from New York to Los Angeles. George Floyd! We're on the ground at the center of the protests over George Floyd's death. The messages, the response, the calls for leadership, the demands for change.
Y'all come up with a better way.
A social crisis in the middle of a health crisis and an economic crisis. What will it take to restore peace? What will it take to bring meaningful change? Extensive coverage from both sides of the border tonight. This is The National. And across the United States tonight, we're watching how protests unfold. Curfews now in effect in Minneapolis, Atlanta, Philadelphia, Detroit, and Seattle, among other places. And along with police, thousands of National Guard troops are on patrol. Everyone bracing for another night of protests, hoping there will not be violence. Demonstrations sparked by the death of an unarmed black man in police custody a week ago. George Floyd died after a police officer kneeled on his neck for several minutes as he struggled to breathe and pleaded for his life. That happened in Minneapolis, now the center of protests. It's where Susan Ormiston is tonight. Stephen D'Souza covering the situation in New York, and Paul Hunter has the view from Washington. But let's begin where the unrest began, Minneapolis, where earlier this evening, news cameras captured this moment.
What's
They
happening
seem to
right
be
now?
dispersing
they're,
right
they're
now.
moving across. What's going on?
I'm not certain what.
Oh my gosh!
Here, wow!
Oh my gosh!
A giant.
Oh my God!
This is very dangerous.
That truck narrowly missing protesters who had gathered on the interstate highway that runs through the city. Its approach sent them scrambling. Protesters were then seen converging on the vehicle. The driver arrested. He has non-life-threatening injuries. Officials say it doesn't appear that the truck hit any of the protesters. Susan Ormiston is live in Minneapolis tonight near the scene on the highway. Susan.
Yeah, Ian, so what we're looking at is, again, a very robust police response. They are blocking the highway. That incident happened just beyond the police lines. The tow truck or the tanker truck has been removed from the scene, but there's lots of protesters around us here and a suspicion that more are on their way here. So it's a very volatile situation. Last night after curfew started, the police moved in, so that could happen again tonight. And of course, those protesters involved in the tanker incident started at the state capitol earlier today very peacefully.
Floyd! Floyd! Floyd!
A calmer protest today outside the state capitol, surrounded by the National Guard. 5,000 called up, compared with just 500 2 days ago.
Arrested today. That's what justice looks like.
Demands still that all 4 police implicated in George Floyd's death be charged instead of just one so far for murder.
We're tired of this shit. You cannot continue to oppress, beat down, marginalize, redline, and kill a people and think we ain't gonna stand up and eventually fight back. This is an uprising.
Rebecca Lind with her boyfriend fought back tears.
Nobody should be murdered just by the color of their own skin. And it's just so crappy that after so many years we still have to be talking about this.
But pursuing justice for Floyd is exacting a heavy price, dividing even those united in the cause.
Ignorant shit like that! Don't shoot!
Last night's demonstration began peacefully, but most anticipated trouble. And just after curfew started,
Don't shoot! Don't shoot!
riot police advanced, swiftly and forcefully, firing tear gas and rubber bullets. Protesters running wildly, eyes streaming. No mercy, move on out was the police message. We were caught up in the middle of it.
Oh, Jason!
No peace! No justice!
For hours, demonstrators set a line, trying to advance, and then retreated as police threatened.
No justice!
But once, as they yanked a makeshift barricade across the road, one man who lived nearby had had enough.
Don't burn our shit down. Go the fuck over there. Y'all can do y'all protest fuck 12, but y'all not burning my shit down.
Tempers flared, mace came out, fists flew, a powder keg between protesters and other residents, all of them agitated. Late today, another powerful image. Shouting Black Lives Matter, demonstrators filled a highway. Shifting tactics for protesters and police, but with tensions barely budging here.
So, Ian, I've had to put my mask on because as we anticipated, the police are now coming up this ramp. There have been a couple of protesters who've tried to run this line. They have been firing rubber bullets, and we expect gas. I can smell a little bit of it. So this is exactly the kind of thing everybody feared, was an unpredictable incident like that tanker truck in the demonstrators, and luckily no one was killed or seriously injured in that incident. But it's the volatility of the situation that this can ignite anything and kick off another more deadly incident. So far during these week of protests, we haven't had death. There we go with the tear gas up the side, and we'll be back to you in just a moment, Ian.
Okay, Susan, you mentioned powder keg last night, and we're certainly seeing that metaphor play out again right now. We'll check in with you later in the hour. Susan Ormiston in Minneapolis, St. Paul. Protesters have also gathered tonight in New York City after demonstrations turned violent there last night. And New York is where Stephen D'Souza is. And Stephen, tell us what you're seeing right now.
Well, Ian, we're with a group that's been marching throughout the streets all day. A very different scene than we've seen in New York, even in other places where it's been mostly peaceful here. This crowd seemingly sneaking through the streets, through Times Square, Union Square. They briefly overtook a highway. There are about 100 or so police officers trailing behind, but they're keeping their distance. And while it doesn't seem like protesters have a plan in terms of where they're going, the overall strategy today across the city is to keep it peaceful.
In New York, protesters are united in their target, the police. But over the last few days, they haven't always been united in their approach. Today in Manhattan, crowds marched peacefully, trying to bring the focus back to their message of justice. But there's also been violence. The last few days and nights have seen police vehicles burned, buildings damaged, hundreds of arrests, and dozens of officers injured. The city is also still reeling from this on Saturday, an NYPD cruiser plowing into a crowd of protesters. The mayor says he didn't like what he saw from police. There will be a full investigation, but he and the police chief also chastised protesters.
That situation was created by a group of protesters blocking and surrounding a police vehicle.
There are protests and there are mobs, and I saw akin closer to a mob.
But protesters say it's the police inciting violence, like this officer ripping off a mask to pepper spray someone. The mayor insists that police have shown restraint. He has resisted calls for a curfew, saying it's only a small number of instigators causing violence.
Some come from outside the city, some are from inside the city. Some are from the neighborhoods where the protests take place, some are not. But what we do know is there is an explicit agenda of violence.
Last night, some protesters blocked a group from vandalizing a Target store in downtown Brooklyn. That, many say, is not the point. It's about the daily confrontations that people of color have with police.
I've been stopping frisk nonstop from the ages 15 to 20.
Throw into the mix anger over the impact of the coronavirus on minority communities, and New York is as volatile as it's been in a long time.
So, Stephen, let's pick up on that theme you mentioned right at the end there, coronavirus, and the way it has hit minority communities disproportionately. So that's been a factor in New York.
That's right. The communities, the Black and Latino communities in New York have been hit the hardest. They're the workers, the essential workers, the poorest. They got hit the hardest. Their businesses got hit hard. They felt like they weren't getting proper compensation from the federal government. And then when things were easing up and as social and physical distancing was being enforced, those communities felt that they were being targeted. And in fact, the numbers showed that Black and Latinos made up the largest proportion of people arrested for social distancing. They see images of cops smiling on white neighborhoods, handing out masks, beating down people in other neighborhoods. And so that is just another layer of anger that people fear here. But it seems that today on Sunday, at least in New York, they're trying to send a message to the rest of the country. They want this to be about the issues. They don't want this to be about violence, and they don't want it to be about confrontations with police officers who, as you can see, are out in full force again. Ian?
We sure can, Stephen. Thank you very much, and we will be talking to you later in the hour as well. Well, tonight, Washington is among the cities that have declared a curfew. The mayor of America's capital city wants everyone off the streets between 11 o'clock until 6 tomorrow morning. This follows several nights of protest. Paul Hunter is in Washington tonight. And Paul, what's the scene there?
Hey, Ian. Well, first of all, the headline is it's peaceful. But I got to say, I've covered a lot of protests in Washington in my time here. I've never seen anything like it. We're in front of the White House. I don't know if you can see over the crowd, the tip of the White House there. This is a crowd that is here for one reason, because Donald Trump is in the White House right now, basically in shouting distance. I say it's a peaceful crowd, but it is a big crowd and it is a passionate crowd, and they have a message for Donald Trump. The question is, in the White House, is he listening? Outside the White House, in shouting distance of Donald Trump, fury. The message to the president is clear. Do something.
I can't stand for that.
From George Floyd's own brother today, anguish.
I just don't understand, man. Why we gotta go through this? Why we gotta have all this pain, man?
The pain is fresh, but the sad circumstance is bitterly familiar. From Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri, to Eric Garner on Staten Island, to the protests in Baltimore after the death of Freddie Gray, nothing seems to ever change for Black Americans. Enter Donald Trump, last week threatening demonstrators who go too far with, as he put it, vicious dogs. For many, echoing ugly imagery from decades past in this country, and sparking a plea today from the mayor of Washington for Trump to help calm the nation.
And he can start by not sending divisive tweets that are meant to hearken to the segregationist past of our country.
Or as Atlanta's Mayor Keisha Lance Bottoms put it,
he should just stop talking.
Trump has said nothing publicly today, but did tweet, slamming journalists for stoking hatred and anarchy, also blaming the left-wing group Antifa, branding them a terrorist organization. As presidents often do, Trump called the Floyd family on Friday. Today, Philanese Floyd described their conversation.
It was so fast, he didn't give me the opportunity to even speak. It was hard. I was trying to talk to him, but he just kept pushing me off, I don't want to hear what you're talking about. And I just told him I want justice. I said that I couldn't believe that they committed a modern day lynching in broad daylight.
Paul, you know what's unfolded in D.C. over the last couple of days. What's your expectation for the city tonight?
Who knows, Ian, is the truth. I mean, it was like this last night at around this time, and I've been to enough protests and issues like this to know that things don't really kick in until a little bit later. Like I said off the top, the headline here is it's peaceful. Yeah, there's been little bits of tear gas on the side. They've been throwing bottles, things like that. But basically, it's just sending that message, like the sign that just walked by, the Black Lives Matter. You know, I was walking up here earlier, and a stranger comes up to me and he just starts talking, and he says, the problem is Trump. And he went on, and you know, we got to get him out of here. That's the problem. Set aside everything else. Change who's in the White House was his message, and the message of everybody here. Again, there's the White House just over the top of the heads of those people. Get Trump out is their message in November. As for tonight, who knows? For the moment, though, Ian, a big crowd, a passionate crowd, an angry crowd, but a calm crowd.
And we do know you'll be keeping an eye on that for us through the evening. Thanks, Paul. Also, protests can be unpredictable, and there is always risk involved for those covering them. But over the weekend, those risks appeared to increase. We want to show you what happened to Susan Ormiston yesterday.
Oh, shit! Just got hit.
And Susan wasn't the only journalist hit while covering the unrest in the streets. Some are wondering what impact this will have on covering a dynamic, important story.
I'm press. I am press.
I don't care, get down.
Okay, I'm down.
Scenes like this were captured in cities across the United States. The cameras rolling when law enforcement seemed to be targeting journalists.
We identified ourselves as press, and they fired tear gas canisters on us at point-blank range. I got hit in the leg.
An investigative journalism website called Bellingcat reported at least 50 separate incidents from Minneapolis to New York City to Louisville, Kentucky. Many faced rubber bullets and tear gas. Some were even arrested. Just 2 days after this CNN television crew was arrested on air, it appeared they were targeted once again by police. With so many protests in so many U.S. cities, we're asking Anita Bath here in our newsroom to keep an eye on them through the evening. And what do you have, Anita?
Let's start in Philadelphia, Ian, where it's been far from peaceful. More looting and unrest gripping neighborhoods throughout the city today. You can see here people, they're coming out of large stores carrying big household items, leading to more than 24 arrests. We're also seeing officers injured, hit with bricks, rocks, and Molotov cocktails, and police vehicles burned. Turning to Atlanta now and the fallout tonight from this scene last night. The 2 people in the car are being tasered by officers, and now we're learning 2 of those officers have been fired.
There would have been a time, probably even last week even, that we would have been able to take our time and very likely would not have taken the measure of terminating these officers. But again, as we watch the video today, it became abundantly clear that this force was excessive.
Amidst all the unrest, there have also been some very powerful moments today, including this, an officer consoling a protester in Louisiana.
I'm feeling the pain. We're here with y'all. We're here to help. Okay? All right? Okay? Okay?
It's all right.
Okay. Look at me. It's all right. We're all here together, okay?
We're at that time now where curfews are now in place in many cities, but dynamic scenes are still playing out right now. This is Santa Monica. Police firing gas into the crowds of protesters who disperse and then come back. Now, we will continue to monitor this situation and others throughout the night. Ian?
And of course, still early here on the West Coast. Thanks, Anita. We are also seeing rallies across Canada, some in solidarity with U.S. protesters, but others to highlight justice issues in this country. Briar Stewart is at one of those rallies in Vancouver. Briar?
Well, Ian, I'm just in front of the art gallery, and it's pretty loud, and it's a very big crowd. Let me just give you a sense of where things are at. Not only is the crowd filling the art gallery, but several streets have been shut down here because the crowd, which is estimated to be about 2,500 people, has spilled into the streets. And I can tell you, I can't really hear a lot of what's going on the stage because I'm far back here, but I can certainly hear the chanting and the crowd saying Black Lives Matters. And really, this protest is one of several that played out across the country over the weekend in solidarity with what's going on in the States.
No justice, no peace. They're gathering in cities across Canada by the thousands, a country with its own enduring struggles with racism and injustice. Many here have experienced it firsthand.
I don't feel safe as if I were a white teenager my age. I always have to be extra vigilant if I'm with my friends. I always have to make sure I'm acting better than everybody.
I don't know if I feel safe or not. I just feel different. I'm treated different than other people because of my skin color.
Protests were also held yesterday in Halifax and in Toronto. They were passionate but peaceful gatherings. Some held signs with the name of Regis Korchinski-Paquette, the 29-year-old woman who died after apparently falling from her balcony last week while police were inside the apartment. In Calgary, a smaller, more intimate rally was held this afternoon.
I've never been to a protest before. This is my first one, and I just felt like I could not be silent.
In Vancouver, Jacob Callender Prasad is one of the organizers of today's protest. He says the videos out of the United States have made his stomach turn.
And people are outraged and want justice, and justice hasn't been done.
He says while Canada is a very different country, many of the same issues exist. He says he's been a victim of excessive force by the police.
There's a large underlying issue in Canada where racism gets swept under the rug, and it's time that that issue comes out. We bring it out and we put it into the light and we address this head on.
And Briar, the organizers of the demonstration in Vancouver, what are they doing to keep it peaceful?
Well, really, they wanted to try to keep this peaceful and not have any of the scenes like have been playing out in the U.S. And one of the things that they've done is keep it in this square here. They wanted it controlled. They thought about maybe marching toward the Trump Tower or perhaps the U.S. consulate, but they didn't want things to get out of control. They said they knew what it was like back in 2011 during the Stanley Cup riots, and they didn't want that to happen. I can tell you that the scene in Montreal that we showed you a little bit earlier, it did deteriorate, and we understand that tear gas was sprayed at some point. The circumstances around that we don't know, but things did deteriorate to a certain degree. This rally's been going on for about an hour now, and it has been very peaceful, and organizers certainly hope it stays that way, Ian.
Briar Stewart live in downtown Vancouver. Thank you. The massive protests across the United States have sent shudders through the public health community. Keep in mind, we are in the middle of a pandemic. They're worried some of those demonstrations could lead to a spike in new cases of coronavirus. And this is what scares them. No signs of physical distancing, people packed together, cheering and jeering, many without masks. Today, the mayor of Washington made a plea.
I'm urging everybody to consider their exposure if they need to isolate from their family members when they go home and if they need to be tested, because we have worked very hard to blunt the curve.
But as violence rocked some cities, Los Angeles, for example, suspended testing due to safety concerns. I want to bring in infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh. And Dr. Bogosh, clearly we're not talking about the politics of these protests, but simply from a medical perspective. When you saw all that video of all those people shoulder to shoulder for a long time outside, what was your reaction?
And certainly, purely from a medical perspective, that's concerning to see, especially in the context of an epidemic that's hitting many parts of the United States hard. You see thousands of people. You see them very, very close together, many of whom are not wearing masks. It would come to no one's surprise if someone who had the infection in one of those protests, that individual could certainly transmit it to other people. Now, of course, we saw pictures of protests in many parts of the country, and in some settings, people were a little bit farther apart. That's helpful. In other settings, we saw lots of people wearing masks. That, of course, can be protective. And, of course, it's outside, which is also protective. But the scenes that we saw where people are tightly packed together, many of whom are not wearing masks, and with thousands of people, that's a troubling scene in the context of an epidemic.
And I guess if they do develop symptoms, we're looking at 1 to 2 weeks when we find that out.
Yeah, but symptoms can develop as early as 2 to 3 days after an exposure. So I really hope people are mindful of that, and certainly that they know where to go for testing should they develop symptoms.
All right. Dr. Bogosh, thank you.
Anytime.
We'll come back to the protests in a moment, but we want to stay on the coronavirus story for a minute. There are 3 new cases in New Brunswick tonight, sparking fears that the outbreaks that have plagued long-term care homes in Ontario and Quebec have come to New Brunswick. Harry Forrestal explains.
For the past 3 days now, Manoir de la Vallée has been the focus of a rapid response team sent in to test residents and staff for COVID-19. The results, not encouraging.
Today, there are 3 new cases of COVID-19 in the province. These cases, and one reported yesterday, have all been confirmed in residents of the Manoir de Vallée long-term care facility in Atholville.
The home has 51 residents with varying levels of care. 4 residents and 1 staff member are now known to be infected with the virus. 3 are in hospital, 1 in intensive care.
I understand the stress that this is causing for residents and staff of the manoir and their families. An outbreak in a senior's home is everyone's greatest fear.
It's a dramatic setback in a province that has, until now, managed to keep the COVID genie in its bottle. Out of 61 care homes, this outbreak is the first breach in those defenses. And in another startling development, Premier Blaine Higgs acknowledged today that since Friday, a third of the manoir staff have left their jobs.
10 out of 28. And they felt it necessary to leave the facility, which is concerning because, you know, at a time like this, it's important that, you know, we have everyone there to do what we can.
Why they've left, says the manoir's owner, is simple: fear of COVID-19.
As soon as the staff learn that COVID is around, many of them are just scared about that.
Advocates for nursing home residents are frightened too, worried that now COVID has a toehold in the province, it will spread to other care homes.
This is actually quite a setback. I'm really concerned that once they open the doors, it's going to spread.
There are now 12 active cases of COVID-19 in the province, all of them in the Campbellton region. And as public health officials warn, there will be more. Harry Forrestal, CBC News, Fredericton.
Back to our top story. Tense scenes across the United States tonight as cities erupt into a sixth night of protest after the death of George Floyd. We have much more coverage ahead. Including policing in America. What can be done to calm the country? And we're on the ground and inside the conversation.
No, hear me out.
We hear from those at the center of it all. Plus, amidst the violence, the moments of connection this weekend.
We can't forget, on all our police cars across the nation, it says protect and serve. Yeah. Protect and serve. That means all people.
We're back right after this. The unrest over the death in police custody of Floyd George has grown by the day. And this weekend, it spread from Minneapolis to dozens of cities in the United States and shows little sign of letting up. We have witnessed a divided country under pressure from a pandemic, grievances boiling over. But we've also seen acts of unity. Here's a look at some of those moments from the weekend.
Former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin has been charged by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office with murder and with manslaughter.
You are disgracing our city. You are disgracing the life of George Floyd and every other person who has been killed in this country. We are better than this.
A lot of our brothers are getting killed in the streets. Most of the time, they try to say it's black on black crime. That's bullshit.
Wrong is knocking out somebody's windows that has nothing to do with it. But right is standing up for what's going on around here. Because I got a black son. He's got to be prepared to come out in this world to figure out what's going on. And I want him to see this firsthand.
We can't forget, on all our police cars across the nation, it says protect and serve.
Yes.
Protect and serve. That means all people. That means all people deserve the same dignity, and you can't call out what's wrong and try to make it right.
Free the man and free them all. Free them all.
When the glory comes, it will be ours, it will be God.
I want to be able, when a cop is driving behind me, I don't have to clench and be tense, okay? I want to be able just to be free and not have to think about every step I take. At the end of the day, being born black is a crime to them, and I don't understand why, because we're all humans, and that's sickening.
Stay strong, and if we stand together, we can overcome any oppression that comes our way.
He's 16! Oh my God. He's 16! What we gonna do? You tell me. What we gonna do? This ain't the way. Because they ready to let loose. If the United States president say, if you loot, we shoot. You think doing this going on? I know it. It's all I know. But it's time to stand up. So at this point, I'm ready to die.
My human emotion, the visceral response to the erasing of the humanity of George Floyd, which felt like erasing the humanity of all of us.
Charges don't mean anything until one of those people are in jail doing serious time, and I'm not talking about a slap on the wrist. 25 years, hard time in federal prison. Thank you. Thank you.
Unfortunately, there are black and brown people having to clean up this mess, and this is what I can do, so I came out to clean.
I can't breathe! I can't breathe!
No peace!
Many of us in Canada know very little about Minneapolis-St. Paul, so we wanted to check in with Keith Mays, a professor at the Department of African American and African Studies at the University of Minnesota. Professor, the unrest in the cities goes deeper than the death of George Floyd. So can you give us briefly some context of the African American experience in Minneapolis-St. Paul?
Absolutely. Minneapolis and St. Paul, the state of Minnesota has some of the worst disparities in the United States. If you look at the income levels, income gaps, the educational gap, rates of incarceration, rates of home ownership, in many ways, this is just a powder keg waiting to explode. We are coming off of the deaths of Philando Castile, where the police officer was acquitted, Jamar Clark, in 2015. So the police abuse on top of the massive inequality in the state gave rise to what you see today taking place in the streets.
You've walked around those streets in your community. You know what has been going on and the mood. What will it take to quell the violence?
Justice, immediate justice. We have the arrest of Derek Chauvin. We are waiting for the arrest of the other 3 officers, and that's what it's going to take in the immediate. In the long term, we are looking for some of these inequalities to be addressed, and we know that they can't change overnight, but we're tired of public officials paying lip service to the issues. It's time that we really understand what's going on in Black and brown communities so we can live out the democracy that's stated in the ideals of the Declaration of Independence and the U.S. Constitution. We've been fighting for these rights for 240 some odd years.
Keith Mays from the University of Minnesota, thank you very much for speaking with us tonight.
Thank you, Ian.
And up next, 3 reporters, 3 different cities, 3 different experiences. We'll talk to them after the break. We are looking live at demonstrations across the United States tonight. Here are some scenes. It's 6:40 Pacific time, 9:40 Eastern, and we will continue to keep watch through the evening. We also have our reporters live in 3 cities. Let's begin with Susan Ormiston, who is in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And Susan, when we last talked to you, things were starting to heat up there. Bring us up to date.
Yeah, it is starting to heat up. The officers that you saw across the highway when I last left you have moved up the ramp, and they're now holding this area. Far more police than there are demonstrators. They're well back from here, but they needed to secure this whole bridge. They didn't like being low on the highway. They were vulnerable there. And what just happened is one of the officers told these people to go home. Now they're saying, you go home, this is our home, you get out of here. So you can hear their cheers around here. You know, Ian, this is exactly the kind of unforeseen, unpredictable incident that can kick off still in this city with things so volatile. That tanker that came through the crowd ignited another protest, another response, and now it's a holding pattern again, and we expect it will develop like it did last night with the police trying to move these demonstrators off the streets. There is an active curfew now in Minneapolis and St. Paul. We're more than 40 minutes into it, and this has been a signal last night as well to get them to go home. What they're trying to avoid is any more serious escalation, possibly injury or even death of confrontation. So it's hold their position, push these people back, but they keep coming forward, keep provoking a response. That's the cat and mouse game that's going on night after night.
Susan Ormiston live in Minneapolis. Let's go to Washington, D.C. now. Paul Hunter is there. And Paul, we were just outside the White House. What's happening?
Well, we're keeping an eye on some tear gas that just went off just behind us a little while ago, but it appears to have dissipated. The crowd has thickened up. But, you know, I'm standing here, Ian, and I'm thinking, you know, I've been in this country long enough now to be struck by the feeling that, man, on this issue in this country, nothing ever changes. You know, I was in Baltimore after Freddie Gray a few years ago. I've been to enough cities in this country where black men have died at the hands of police. There goes something now. To be left with that feeling. You hear the chanting Black Lives Matter, you know, and besides the fix to the systemic problems, all people really want is for that phrase to be believed, the Black Lives Matter. And you get the frustration because it's as if not enough people do, not enough people in power in the White House believe it, and that's a part of this. You know, it was 2008, I was a couple of hundred meters that way. Ian, the night Barack Obama was elected, it was thrilling in the air, right? It was like, this is the end of history, the end of racism. And here we are, 12 years later.
People that we can see behind you are calm. They're demonstrating, but you know we live in polarized times in the United States, and I wonder if those divisions are playing out where you're standing.
It is the headline, like I was saying earlier, Ian. It is calm tonight. People are here to make a point because Donald Trump is just right over there. They are directing their frustration and their anger at the guy in that building. But it is in a calm and angry but reasonable, passionate manner for now.
Paul Hunter in Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for the update. And we're going to take this shot live again, the literally helicopter view of 4 different cities. You can see in the lower left-hand part of your screen what appears to be an arrest of demonstrators. Still early out here on the West Coast. Still lots of ground to cover over the next few hours, and we'll keep watching this story as it unfolds. We are looking live at Los Angeles. It is about 12 minutes to 7 o'clock on the West Coast. And as you may know, LA, the scene of looting spread out throughout that city yesterday, and police vowing, along with the National Guard, to restore order in the city.
On the other side of the freeway, or what?
All right, let's go to the other side of the country now, New York City. In Manhattan, that's where Stephen D'Souza is tonight. And Stephen, what's happening there right now?
So, Ian, we're here in Times Square. The crowd we've been following has walked about 45 blocks, and it looks like we're going to continue up. But I actually have one of the protesters here, Ricardo Berlan, joining the protest for the first time today. Today seems a lot more peaceful, Ricardo. Tell me about that sort of decision amongst this crowd here.
Well, honestly, it's also a geographical standpoint. The fact that there's a lot of more valuable assets in Times Square, the police want to make sure that this place definitely doesn't get damaged because so much money is made here. But with the protests that's happening across the country, it's only natural that we set an example over here that this can be done right peacefully, and that nobody has to get hurt, public doesn't have to get hurt, and our message can still be heard.
What is your message? What do you want people to know? This is more about George Floyd, though, isn't it?
Our message is the fact that not only at police reform, there needs to be reform of the entire system in this country in general. From politics, we need to get money out of politics. We need to put more funding into education, health care, and advocate for the people who are oppressed and disenfranchised. We have to advocate for their rights. It's the right thing to do in this country. And in this country, we're supposed to be treated as equal citizens, and we're not. And that's why we're doing this protest. It's the fact that people with my skin color are guilty until proven innocent and prejudged from walking in the street doing nothing. Watch out. And we just want to be at peace. I want to be able to walk in a neighborhood and not have people walk past me holding their purse, not have police slowing down their vehicles trying to see what I'm going to do. I have a son and I'm doing this for him, and I don't want him to be at my age with these concerns. And that's what this matters. We're doing this for the future. We're doing this for the people who didn't make it. We're doing this for the people who are not at this city right now to protest. That's why we're all here, for everybody to have a voice and to everybody to have the right to exist in this country as equal people.
Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. So that's just one voice here, and you can see the protest is going to continue moving on down the street, and you just get a sense of the anger, the frustration that is just layered upon layered, and it's historical. It goes back decades, and so when you see this happening, you can see that this is not going to be easily remedied. Ian?
Anger and frustration, but also seeing how peaceful and orderly it is, at least where you are in Manhattan near Times Square tonight. Stephen D'Souza, thank you very much. But let's go back to the epicenter of this story, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Carolyn Dunn has a story of one man who knew both George Floyd and the officer arrested in his death, and who's paid a personal price, the storekeeper has, in the chaos unleashed by their fatal encounter.
Destruction is all that's left of Pablo Hernandez Camara's dream. He spent 2 years and $120,000 to open his sports bar. COVID-19 delayed its launch, then the protests and the fire.
Maybe 4:30 in the morning, somebody called me, hey Pablo, the place is fire. You really? Yeah. I take my car, you come here, everything is fire.
Most of his personal belongings burned too. Now he has just 6 pairs of pants and 6 shirts to his name, and no insurance on an unopened business.
All my money, my money, my family, everything is you put in here is it? Look at her.
His niece Jennifer is doing what she can.
I just felt like really helpless, like I couldn't really do anything, and so my tidbit to be able to do something is just a fundraiser to gather anything to help the community here.
Pablo knew both George Floyd and the man charged in his death. Floyd worked security at the club Pablo managed, also gutted. Officer Derek Chauvin policed the area outside. It's not clear whether the two knew each other. Pablo can still hardly believe George Floyd is dead.
Oh my God, this is not possible, no lo podía creer.
The burned-down block is drawing crowds of people taking pictures and weighing the toll of the unrest.
I feel horrible for the business owners who didn't want anything to do with this, but there's a certain point when peaceful protests just don't get the point across anymore. The black people have had enough of being mistreated. Like, we've had enough of the racist cops, everything.
So it's a lot more than just bricks and mortar. It's people's dreams, it's people's lives, it's people's livelihoods, it's home.
As for Pablo Hernandez Camara, he is supportive of the protests. He just wishes the violence that has come with them hadn't changed his future forever. Carolyn Dunn, CBC News, Minneapolis.
Next, with protests across the United States and around the world, a plea from a young singer.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can.
We're back right after this. We're looking live at the scene in Minnesota. As you can see, remains, as Susan Ormiston told us a short while ago, very active. The curfew has been in effect in Minneapolis, St. Paul for some time now, but clearly some people are not heeding that. There are thousands of people in streets and cities across the United States, and we will see over the next few hours if they heed the message of many organizers asking them to remain peaceful. After George Floyd was killed, 12-year-old Keedron Bryant decided to channel his feelings into a song, an emotional tribute that's now become an anthem with a powerful message.
I'm a young black man doing all that I can to stand. Oh, but when I look around and I see what's being done to my kind, every day I'm being hunted as prey. My people don't want no trouble. We've had enough struggle. I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live. I just wanna live.
You know, in that song is part of the story of the last few days, the eloquence and emotion that we're hearing expressed so many ways, whether it's a song or people on the street, even sometimes people arguing on the street, and we're getting so much insight into what the issues are in the United States. And we will continue to do that. If you're watching in Atlantic, Canada, we will continue live coverage throughout the evening on CBC News Network. That is the National for Sunday, May 31st.
Across. What's going on?
I'm not certain what.
Oh my gosh!
Here, wow!
Oh my gosh!
A giant.
A terrifying moment in Minneapolis tonight. Thousands protesting peacefully on a highway, and then a tanker truck drives towards the crowd. People scrambling for their safety.
That vehicle made its way.
Good evening, I'm Ian Hanamansing. Tonight, an extraordinary moment in America. Protests, police,